Hello, hello, hello everyone. Today I am going to show you how my bash profile works and how that interacts with my terminal. So you might notice I've got a little astronaut here. I can actually run a command, a new random emoji, and it will give me a new random emoji, one on a list of emoji that I've chosen that can be selected here every time I run that. And anytime that I open up a new terminal tab, it selects a new random one for me as well. It's pretty fun. It's kind of cool. So that's not the only thing that my bash profile does. That's just like a silly thing. Another thing is it shows me in green the name of the branch that I'm on. So if I were to get, I don't know, check out a new branch called foo, then I'm going to get foo is my new branch, and then I'll check out the previous thing. And I've got a diff. Oh yeah, here, let me git commit, fix things. I made a couple changes in preparation for this video. So, all right, cool. So how do we do this? Let's take a look. So my bash profile is inside of my .files repo, and this is where I have a couple like scripts that I like to have on my computer. My vimrc is in here, like how it defines what vim looks like for me. My git ignore global, my Mac OS setup script, and anytime I get a new laptop, it'll automatically install stuff. And then the bash profile. Now, one of the things that this Mac OS script does when I install or when I'm setting up a new computer in the first place is it runs this. So first it will clone the .files, and then it will link a bunch of things to my home directory. So we clone it into home.files, and then we link home.files bash profile to home bash profile. And so if I were to look at here, we'll bump that up a little bit. And I list all the things here, which conveniently I have LL alias there. You'll see that here in a second. Here we'll go back actually. Then you'll see a couple of these things are symlinks. So the bash profile is a symlink, my git ignore global, my bin, and vimrc and vimrc parts. Yeah, so they're all kind of pointing to this .files repo, and that way I can manage these things, and it works with multiple computers. I just do a git pull anytime I make a change, and when I set up a new computer, I just run that script and everything is set up. It's kind of nice. So how does this work? What is this bash profile doing? That's what I want to focus on today. So I've got it open up here. So I will just go through everything that I'm doing and tell you what it's doing, or if I don't know what it's doing. For example, I'm not sure what that does. It has something to do with color, but I don't know what it does. Lots of this stuff, I started this bash profile thing when I very first started in software development. A guy named Merrick Christensen, who I love and respect dearly, he helped me get set up, and I'm pretty sure I got this from him. I also got this from him. So this is going to get me the value that you can echo, and the things that come after that will be that color. I think that's how that works anyway. So we've got green, yellow, and reset. Reset just gets everything back to no color at all, and you'll see why that's important here in a little bit. This git branch function, it just runs a git command, and yeah, and it'll determine what branch you're currently on. And then I put that in parentheses later down here. Or actually, no, I guess I put it in parentheses up here. So yeah, this function will just give me the git branch if I'm in a git repository. If I'm not, then I guess nothing happens, or it returns nothing. Which I guess is why it's I surround it with parentheses here rather than here, because then you just wind up with empty parentheses, which would not be fun. Then I have this random element function, thanks to some place on the internet. And so yeah, we take our arguments being denoted here, convert that into an array. We just call it array. And then we create R, which we assign to a random element in that array, and then, or a random index of that array, excuse me. And then we printf that, like that element from that array. So printf is basically, it's not return, but you can use it like return for these functions. So I can assign the value to whatever wherever I'm calling this thing. So yeah, and then I have my default prompt here. I set emoji, and this is what actually is setting the prompt value, is this set emoji. So I'm going to take the emoji value here, and then PS1 is what determines what shows up here before my block where I can start typing stuff. So PS1, I start out with yellow, and what the... Huh, that's weird. What is this doing? Yellow dash W. I'm not sure what that does, honestly. Hold on a second. Echo. Huh, that's weird. I don't know what that's doing, actually. But in any case, what I want to have happen, and I guess what's happening, I just don't know how it's happening, is I have my current directory right here in yellow, and then I've got this /W thing. Well, that's weird. I guess I was expecting, I haven't looked at this in a long time, clearly, but I was expecting some PWD here or something. I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, then we switch over to green and put our git branch in there, and then we reset it so that we don't have any colors going on. And then we specify our emoji, new line, $, space. And that is how we get that output there. So one really important tip. So I've actually seen a lot of, like if you just Google it, you'll see a whole bunch of people saying, here's how you add an emoji to your terminal. And they're all great, but most of them, well, first of all, not any of them do this. They all just like replace your $sign or whatever with the emoji. But most of them are making the mistake that I made, where they put the emoji right here. And now we've got it here, and it's cool, and I like it. Or maybe they'll just get rid of the $sign altogether. And that's fun, but here is the problem. This happens when you are using the emoji on the line that you're typing on. It gets like super weird and messed up. And this is actually a bug in Xterm, I think. Xterm JS. I think actually, yeah, here it is. I was just looking at this. Where there's some problems with emoji and, well, some certain Unicode characters. It's super weird. So, yeah, that's super annoying. And so to fix that, I mean, it works on the regular terminal, so the terminal is fine. But to fix that, I just put it on the previous line, and life is good. So, yeah, so that's a little tip there. New random emoji is a function that calls setEmoji, and it uses that random element, and I just pass all the emoji that are possible. I haven't seen this one come up yet. SetEmoji. I added a whole bunch of emoji. It used to just be like, I think it went as far as the chipmunk for a long time. So yeah, added a whole bunch more. And then I just call it new random emoji just to kick things off to actually set the prompt. Also going to the history does strange things. Yeah, so be careful with that emoji stuff. Okay, so we're gonna, I also, for some of my courses, I like my, what this looks like to be consistent. Yeah, I'm gonna bump that up a little bit. And so for my courses that I'm using Jest, I'm going to use this Jestify thing. and I'm like, hello, and it's always jest, and it doesn't show the directory. There's just less distraction stuff. This also used to just be this, but I had the same problems with that, so I don't do that anymore. I'm going to show you what that SB thing does later. And then we've got Cypressify. It says the same thing, Cypressify. So, ta-da. Okay, so then I also have this history size stuff. I remember having a problem, and I read something online that said I could fix my problem by doing this, and that's why that's the way that it is. I don't know. Yeah, I clearly am really smart. Okay, so this is actually a really interesting path alteration, and I've got a video about it that I made quite a while ago. Let's see. You'll probably find it easiest on my YouTube channel, and I will give you a link. We'll search node modules. Yeah, safely map node modules bin to your path. So I'll copy that, I'll paste that in here, and you can watch that yourself. But basically what this is doing is it's saying, it's taking advantage of the fact that if you're in a project that has a node modules directory, that will, on a Mac, you're going to have a bin, and that's going to have a bunch of symlinks to binaries that are like installed on your project. And so it'd be really sweet if I could just use Babel, or if I could just use Prettier, or I don't even know what lots of these things are, or Webpack here. It would be cool if I could just use those right from my command line without having to run node modules.bin / I don't know, Webpack version, right? Whoa, nope. That was not a good one. How about we do which version? Yeah. Anyway, so it is possible with this slide alteration where I can just say, here we got Prettier in there, Prettier version. There we go. And that'll be the one that's actually installed in my node modules. So the really important thing here, where this is actually pretty dangerous, is if I were to put this right here. That would be terribly dangerous, and I explain why in that video. But basically, if I were to install a module that, I don't know, provide an ls bin and then like sent all of my information to the world or something, then that would take over the ls command in my terminal, and that would not be good. So making sure that it's on the right side of your path is a good thing. Okay, so then I also have a custom .bin directory that's private. I don't want it in my .files, and then one that is in my .files. I should probably rename that to just .files bin or something. And so I add those to my path, and so that way anything that's in my bin, like md quote clip, and send event, those things I can use. So if I say md quote hi, actually I think I'm supposed to pipe it. Nope. Echo hi, pipe into md quote. There we go. Then it'll give me that little quote character for markdown. And then I use that in conjunction with quote clip, and that will take whatever I have in my clipboard, quote it, and then paste it back in my clipboard. Makes it really easy to quote stuff. So I could do a bunch of other things like that too. Okay, so CD path alterations. This one's pretty useful. So basically what this allows me to do is when I type CD, typically you're going to be like, okay, CD home directory, and then code, and then React testing library, right? Or desktop and temporary directory, or whatever. I found that to be kind of annoying, and so a coworker a while back showed me a trick with this CD path where I can say, hey, the CD path is dot, which I think is referring to where I am right now, which maybe I should remove this. CD on login, yeah. Yeah, so this is referring to, oh, yeah, no. So it's referring to where I am at the wherever I am at the time, like in my terminal. I think that's what it's doing. But then I also, it'll also include, for like autocomplete, when I hit tab, it'll include anything that's in the home directory, or anything that's in the home/code directory, or anything that's in the home/desktop directory. So what that means is I can cd React testing library, and that will take me all the way to code React testing library, which is sweet. So I like that a lot. I highly recommend having something like this. I use that all the time. Okay, sweet. Oh. Sorry. Okay. So weird things going on. Super annoying. I'm super sorry about that. Let's see. Display capture. Something's weird. There we go. I want this to be display. The second display. There we go. Okay. And that be down here. Goodness gracious. I am planning on getting a dedicated streaming machine. Now more than ever, I've decided that is something I'm going to be doing. And so then hopefully my computer won't freeze when I'm streaming, because that is not cool. Here, let's see. There we go. Okay, sweet. So we're back in the saddle again. Sorry about that. Whew. Okay, terminal. Let's go back to .files and open up VS Code. I was just about to show you my my aliases when I noticed that somebody answered our question about something here earlier. Right here. I guess /w means working directory in this context. So that's interesting. Okay, cool. So we're back. And yeah, hopefully I'll get that dedicated machine for streaming. We'll make that work, and then I won't have this problem anymore. Apple, you are not what you once were. Okay, so let's talk about aliases. I have many of these. I'll tell you some of the ones that I use a lot and the ones that I kind of forgot that I had. So aliases, basically they allow you to take a long command and give it a single command, character command or something. Whoa, Ankit, thank you. That was nice. Makes me feel so nice when people are nice. Okay, so this alias I use literally all the time. It uses the code binary, which is created by VS Code when you install it. And then you can provide the argument to what you want to open up. And I say, hey, I do that a lot. So I'm going to create an alias that's just the C character. And that will open up my current working directory in VS Code. I use that all the time. I literally just used it. So then I just type C, and it'll pop it open. I've already got this one open, so it pops open. But here, I'll give you a quick little demo of that. We'll go to cd React testing library and then C, and it'll pop right open. I use that literally all the time. LL is another one that I use all the time. LSAL. So if you just do ls, it'll show you all the files. It won't show you hidden files and stuff. So you say LSA, and now it shows you .files and stuff, which is nice. But then it doesn't show you as a list. Here, let me expand this a little bit more so you can see this. ls-l will show you more information that's useful, like the kilobytes and dates and whatever. So if you do ls or al, then it'll show you both of those things, and that's what I want to see like 90% of the time. Now it occurs to me now though that I don't really care about like any of this stuff. Yeah, like maybe I should have a different alias that's like LLA or something that lists all of this information, because typically the reason that I don't like ls let's see, A, is because it lists it out like this and it's kind of hard to read. I'd prefer it to just list them all as new line characters. So if somebody wants to show me how to do that, I'll probably update my LL to do that, because this is more information than I ever care to know most of the time. Okay, so our next one is ... That is basically just take me up a directory. The next one is ... .l. Here, let me go back to .files. .l, and take me up a directory and list everything. I never use that, like ever. I forgot that I had that. So there's that for you. PG, if I'm having connectivity issues, then I want to ping Google to see if I can get a response back. And so I use that pretty frequently. Haven't used it in a little while, but sometimes I do. If I want to make like a quick change to my bash profile, then I can VB, and that will take me into this very file that we're looking at. And I'll make a quick change to that. Once I've made a change, then I need to resource the bash profile. So I'm going to SB, and that will basically rerun the bash profile. And so typically, sometimes you can wind up with some weird state when you do that. And so opening up a new terminal will source it for the first time, and it'll work nicely there. So that might be a better way to do that. But yeah, there's that. Let me just see. Ankit is being super nice. Ya Zhuang is saying ls1a will do what I want. Nice. Okay, I'm going to update that right now. Thank you. And if I ever want to list all the stuff, I know that will get me what I want. But now if I source the bash profile and then LL, that's going to get me what I want. Yes. Thank you. That is helpful. Okay, cool. That's great. So I tend to go to my desktop pretty frequently, so I'll do DE, and then actually I'll do MG, which will make a directory and then go to that directory. So like go to the desktop and then MG foobar, and that'll create a new directory, and then it CDs into the directory, and then I can like npm init whatever, right? So let me go back up. We'll remove the foo bar, and we'll go back to .files. Cool. Let's see what else we have here. I also I used to call this development, I think, and so that's where the D alias came from. But I don't like having to use a capital letter when I'm typing through paths and stuff, and code shorter, and it makes more sense. So I changed it to code, but because I already have C as code for my editor, I just left it as D. And so now I can just go to my code directory and I can make a temp thing or whatever. And wow, I like that new LL alias. Thank you so much. Okay. So that's what D is: show files and hide files. This just is a really easy, quick way to show hidden files and hide hidden files. Yeah, because sometimes I don't want to have to figure out, oh, I forgot how to show and hide hidden files. I don't know. I do that sometimes. Delete DS files because they're super annoying. So if I open up this accidentally in Finder, I can just delete all the DS files, that DS store file stuff. Super annoying. KCD OSS. I use this one anytime I want to make a new project, a new open source project. It uses my generator. So I npx using npx to install yo and generator KCD OSS. And then I issue the command yo KCD OSS, and that will generate me a new project. It'll ask me a couple questions, what it's called, what its description should be, and it generates me a whole new project. So if my open source projects all look pretty similar, it's because for the last like 2 years, I've been using the same generator for that. Then I've got this one. I got this from Ryan Florence. Yes, it is crap. Create React app. I don't know. But yeah, this is a function because I had it was called shell check online that got mad at me when I used $1 in an alias. So I used this instead. But basically, I have a directory here in my home directory that has everything that I want out of a Create React app, except I just noticed package lock.json, lock.json exists, and I want to have this use yarn instead. I'm moving over to yarn on this new computer because I think it's good. But what this does is I have it all installed right here, and then instead of using like npm init React app, which is a pretty cool feature of npm, and I think Yarn has this too. Instead of doing that and having to download and install all dependencies, I just copy everything over, and so it's a lot faster. So if I go to de and then I do app, my app, then it just copies it all over. It takes like a second or two or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it takes a couple seconds. And then I can go to my app and I can yarn start, and that'll get it all started for me. It's pretty sweet. And then it pops up over here. And I get hello world, and I've like removed all the stuff. So it's nice because not only is it faster, but it's already got some things installed like React testing library and other things that I want for all my React app needs. I also have a short URL for something similar for Code Sandbox. So I've got a React Code Sandbox that is initialized with all the stuff that I want, like it's using emotions JSX. So I can use the CSS prop and all that magic stuff, and then a test in here and stuff like that. So it's already set up with the, and in fact, I think this one's using, a hooks version of React, and so I can just do whatever I want there. So that's nice. Okay, then npm update, that one's a nice one. So I can go npm update. This is going to install npm check and then run npm check with the -u flag. It's going to fail here because this is actually doesn't even have a package.json in here. This will give me a listing. Actually, here we can do this. We'll do React testing library. It'll give me a listing of all the dependencies that are outdated, and then I can like turn them on and say, oh, okay, yeah, I like that, I guess, and that's good. We hit enter, and it'll run the install script. I need to change this so that it'll actually run it with yarn. So that's something that it can do. Okay, sweet. That's typically how I update stuff. Just like, what's out of date? Let's just update all these things. It'll like update my version range and my package.json and all that stuff. Okay, so this one's actually kind of a fun one. I'm not going to show you what this one does, but it's called Love Text. This is a gift that I gave to my wife like 4 Christmases ago, maybe 3 or 4. This one, it's just a repo I have locally here on my machine. It opens up an Angular app. Yep, this was a long time ago. And that Angular app connects to a Firebase, and I can add these little text messages. And then every single day I have a cron job that's running on now sh, that at 3 o'clock it will take the top text message and send it to my wife. It's really, really cool. She loves it. And so whenever I want to queue up a new text, I can just type LT, open up localhost, and then type in a new text, and she'll get it at 3 every day. That's like around the time of day that it's kind of hard, and she's looking forward to me coming home. So she likes that. So then I have this, actually somebody just asked a question. You seem to have a ton of aliases. Doesn't it feel weird when you're connected via SSH on a server that doesn't have them? Yeah, it would if I ever connected to a server via SSH. I'm not as smart as some of you people, and I'm certainly not as smart as some of you think that I am. So yeah, I don't really do server stuff like very like very rarely do I do server stuff. I am not comfortable there. I don't want to be comfortable there. I just want, this is why I'm loving the serverless thing, so I don't have to deal with servers. I never really SSH into anything. So yeah, I probably would, like, especially this ll command and the ... and stuff like that. Whenever I do SSH into something, that is kind of annoying, but yeah, alright. I mean, I think there was one time that I had to SSH into something pretty regularly, so I actually cloned my .files and I ran my .files on that server, so that I could have all this stuff. But yeah, that was a long time ago. Okay, sweet. So here's some git aliases. So I've got git gc. That allows me to say git. Yeah, I just say gc. gc hello. Well, and then I add. Anyway, it just is a faster commit. I actually don't use that one a whole lot. GS I use all the time. GP I kind of forgot, and GF I kind of forgot I have those. Gpush I also forgot that one. GD I do use this one all the time. Show me the diff. And GA I also use this one all the time. Git add all the things, and then you see change it or fix fix ll command. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so then npm and yarn aliases, they're pretty much the same. Ni is npm install. NRS, I use that all the time. NRB, sometimes. NRD to run dev, the dev script. Yes, I run that quite a bit. NRT, I run that all the time. In fact, it's kind of hard as a teacher when I'm so used to running these aliases, and then I'm showing you, here's how you run the tests and like whatever. And okay, now just start up the test, and then I type NRT, and people are like, whoa, what did you just do? So yeah, I do have to train myself to not run these really helpful aliases when I'm teaching. NRTW for watch, I sometimes run that. Typically though, I'm in either a React scripts or KCD scripts or PayPal scripts repo, where it will automatically run the tests locally by default in watch mode. And then it'll run like one with coverage in CI. So typically I can just do NRT and it'll run in watch mode. But sometimes that's not the way it works, so I have NRTW. NRV, npm run validate, that'll run, like most of my projects have a validate script that just runs all the linting, the build, the everything, just to make sure that we're in a good state, so I like that one. Yeah, RM, RF, node modules. I actually forget that I have this one, and I kind of forget that I have this one. I don't really, like, I definitely remove my node modules a lot. Whoops. That semicolon should be there. But yeah, and the reason that I do that is because typically I'm doing some typical things with my node modules. Like I'm like tinkering around inside the node modules directory manually and stuff. And I don't really trust npm to fix things for me. I think I trust yarn a little bit, so I might be doing this less with yarn. But yeah, npm, I just have trust issues with npm. Which is kind of why I'm switching over to yarn. Things just never seem to work, and like doing this flush npm where I remove all the node modules and reinstall everything seems to fix problems, and that's why I don't trust npm. This allows me to install things when I'm offline, or just prefer the cache prefer being offline. I pretty much have forgotten that I have those, and I don't really use those very often. Also, does bash have automatic semicolon insertion? Because I'm missing a lot of semicolons. Okay, so then I have yarn run, yas, I love it, yab, yat, yav, and yoff, and yipum. So this one, actually, I don't think I need this anymore. When I started with yarn, it would fail if the engines were incorrect and if there was no lock file in place. And I was like, I just want to use yarn like it's npm because it's faster. It's not faster anymore, so I don't. If I want to use yarn, it's because I want the lock file. But yeah, that I used to have ypm for like yarn npm kind of. Okay, so we're getting close down to the end here. I alias git to hub. So oh, somebody just asked, what is the say command? Let me show you. Say hello. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't think you can actually. Let me see if I can add audio output capture. And nope, just kidding. That's not going to do it. Let me just try one other thing. Audio input capture. And the device. Okay, it looks like I can't show you this. Or you, well, you could hear me double for a second. Okay, sorry about that. Yep, I definitely need to get a dedicated machine for this live streaming thing because this is kind of ridiculous. Okay, so let's just put this fit to screen, and we'll swap these. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. This is super annoying. Let me get our dot files open again and bring that over here. We are almost done. And just make sure that we're still, yep. And that's a freeze. Oh goodness. Okay, cool. So, we are almost finished here. Let me just open up the bash profile and we'll get this done. And then I'm gonna go on Amazon and get a dedicated machine for streaming. Okay, so I just showed you Hub. I was gonna show you github.com/github/hub. This is a fantastic project. I super love it. Yeah, it's just basically a Git that is optimized for GitHub. It allows you to clone repositories by the user and the repository name, or if it's your own, then you just do, like, they could do hub clone tilt, and it will just install their own fork or whatever on their own user, which is pretty sweet. So I alias hub to that, and if I do git version, then I'll get both the git version and the hub version for that, which is pretty sweet. I get that from Homebrew, I think, is where I install that. Okay, so then I showed you my make it go that makes a directory and then goes to that directory. Shorten, so if you've seen my dev tips before, then you'll know what this is. And yeah, it is shortener. Make a super simple personal URL shortener with Netlify, where I show you how to use this redirects file to create a URL shortener. And then I show you how to use my Netlify shortener project to shorten a URL. So then in that project, I also show you how to create this function, which will run that shortener. And then I can say shorten https://google.com 1234. Oh, whoops, shorten. There we go. And now if I go, and then this is copied to my clipboard. So if I paste that, we paste that, then ta-da, it goes to Google. It's remarkably fast. Like that, what happened there was I pushed something to GitHub. You can see here, I made a change to a file. I pushed it to GitHub, and then Netlify picked that change up from GitHub and deployed that out to their servers so that when I hit that URL, they redirected. It was super fast. That's so cool. I just think it's the coolest thing. I also have a shorten URL that'll take me to the shortener to edit it on GitHub, which is pretty neat. So there's that. Shorten is pretty cool. CDL, I pretty much never use this, but if I wanted to, I could go on login and it'll run LL after I get there. That's kind of like the .L. I pretty much never use that. Okay, npm latest. So this will give me the latest version of raw CNV, and it'll just tell me what the latest version is. I forgot that I have that, and that actually is kind of useful, so I might use that more. Kill port is really helpful. So if you have a rogue server running somewhere, here, let's do that. I'll go to my grep directory yarn start. So I've got a server, and let's say that this process exited, but it exited improperly. And so the server is still like hanging out in limbo, not working. So that's going to be port 3000. What I can do, here, I'll just get rid of that first. What I can do is I can say kill port. I know what port it is. I just say kill port 3000 and it'll kill everything. Sadly, it actually also kills Chrome, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure why it does that. But yeah, that's happening. Okay. So that's what kill port does. I use that every now and then if there's something not acting quite right. Okay. So close. Bash completion. I have a brew like I install the bash completion package from brew from homebrew, and then I can source that bash completion file, I guess, whatever, and then that lets me have like here, let's do like, I don't know, and then I hit tab and it'll autocomplete to grep. Kind of nice. I know that if I used like fish or ZSH, I could get like a million more other things, but I'm just so comfortable in my normal terminal with bash and stuff. I don't know if I'll ever leave, but yeah. CLI color and LS colors, I actually don't know what those do. I think it has something to do with the colors that you see here, but I don't really know what those do. I can't remember where I got those, but I think they should probably like go up here. That would probably make more sense. Hopefully I didn't break anything. Yep, still works. Okay, then the last thing, this comes from N. So as part of my macOS setup script, I install N. And then N will like expect this to exist in your bash profile. If it doesn't already, it'll add it. But basically, if I go to the N directory in home, and then I look in here, it has bin, include, lib, share, and N. If I look at bin, then in here, I'm going to have my global packages. So I use diff-so-fancy for my git diffs, which is pretty cool. That's for another time. fkill is another cool utility. But N and node and npm and npx, those are the primary things that I'm getting from N, in addition to these other global packages that I install. So that lets me say node version, and then I can say N, and that's all the versions of node that I have installed. And help, let's see, what can I do? So I can say N, NLS. That'll let me see which versions are available, of which there are many versions of Node, and I could say and install, I think. I don't really do this a lot. And install 8. Invalid version install. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, invalid version install. Install is the invalid version. I can't remember how to use N, honestly. And maybe nuse version. Nuse 8. 8 is not installed. Well, how do I install it? For crying out loud? That's weird. Does anybody know how to use N properly? I don't know. N download 8. There we go. That's weird. N8. N8. Sweet. So now if I say node version, I'm going to get version 8. N10. Yay. Anyway, I use N. I love it. I think it's great, even though I clearly don't use it all that often. But now if I NLS, I'm going to see that I have a version 8 installed too, which is pretty cool. And then that little dot indicates which version I have currently in my path. Okay, sweet. So we are all done. That took like way longer than I anticipated it was going to take. And I even removed a couple of things that I wasn't using. So yeah, hopefully that was interesting. And now you know how my bash profile works. And I hope you find it useful. If you really want to, if you're just getting started into stuff like this, I suggest that you look into Fish or ZSH or something, because I guess people tell me that they're better. I'm just so ingrained in this, I don't have time to learn anything else. So I'm sticking with this. But yeah, you can just look around. It's kind of fun. Why did I pick N over NVM? I feel like N is easier to use than NVM. Like I can switch between these two really nicely and stuff. And I like the way that N works better, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I just like how easy it is to install and use and stuff. So, okay. Yeah. And now I'm going to go see if I can get myself a dedicated machine for live streaming, because this is nuts to have it freeze twice in the middle of a live stream. Okay. Boy, I wish Steve Jobs was still around. He could have fixed all of these problems. All right. I hope you have a nice day. And actually, before I get a new laptop, I'm going to answer another question on my AMA on KCD IM3 mins on my 3-minute podcast. Probably something like, I don't know, one of these. I don't know. But yeah, check out 3 Minutes with Kent. It's kind of fun, and you can subscribe. Okay, I'll see you all later. Have a nice day. Yeah, goodbye.